would like to extend our amiable welcome to each and everyone present here this evening. Your presence makes us happy.
Today was the day we lost the Mahatma of our country. I request everyone to stand up and observe 1 minute silence in order to pay homage for our Mahatma Gandhi as a memorial tribute. You are as welcome as the flowers in May, and we love you in the same way. May we now request the President of MMBA, Mr. SRINIVASA RAGHAVAN, to give a welcome address.
A very happy evening to one and all here. In fact, it is a privilege for MMBA to organize this felicitation to the newly designated senior advocates in the first time in the state of Tamil Nadu. We are the first association to do it. So I thank the members of MMBA for having given the opportunity to do this. On this happy occasion, I heartily welcome Mr. VEERA KATHIRAVAN, AAG, Madurai Bench, Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL, Senior Advocate, Founder President of MMBA, Mrs. KRISHNAVENI, Senior Advocate, to this occasion. And I heartily welcome all the brothers and sisters who are present here. And more importantly, I welcome the heroes of the function, Mr. Natarajan, Mr. T.S.R. Venkatramana, Mr. Vijayakumar, Mr. K. Balasundaram, Mr. N. Ananthapadmanabhan, Mr. C. Arul Vadivel alias Sekar, Mr. M. Subashbabu, Mr. R. Baskaran, AAG Madurai, Mr. K.K. Senthilvelan, Mr. S.R. Rajagopal, Mr. K.P.S. Palanivel Rajan, Mr. B. Saravanan, Mr. R. Gandhi, and Mr. M. Sricharan Rangarajan. And to be happy to say that out of the 62 advocates who have been designated as senior advocates, MMBA has 14 in its kitty. So this occasion we want to celebrate, and this is the occasion we are here to felicitate the newly designated senior advocates who are the members of MMBA. So once again, I welcome one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's time to honor our newly designated senior councils. No person was ever honored for what he received. He has been honored for what he gave. May we now request the President of MMBA and Vinod to honor Mr. S. Natarajan with a memento and a shawl. Now I request the Secretary of MMBA and the Treasurer of MMBA to honor Mr. T.S.R. Venkatramana with a memento and a shawl. May I now request the Vice President of MMBA and Librarian of MMBA to honor Mr. K. Balasundaram with a shawl and a memento. Now I request the Treasurer of MMBA and Mr. Shribi Chakravarti to honor Mr. N. Ananthapadmanabhan with a shawl and a memento. Now I request Mr. A. Arumugam and Ajay Ghosh to honor Mr. C. Arul Vadivel with a shawl and a memento. Now I request Senior Advocate Meenakshi Sundaram and Praveen to honor Mr. Subashbabu with a shawl and a memento. Now I request the librarian of MMBA and Vijayakumar to honor Mr. R. Baskaran, AAG of Madurai Bench of Madras High Court with a memento and a shawl. Now I request Mr. Jnana Gurunathan and Joint Secretary of MMBA to honor Mr. K.K. Senthilvelan with a shawl and a memento. Now I request Mr. Alagaram Jyoti and G. Radhakrishnan to honor Mr. S.R. Rajagopal with a shawl and a memento.
May I now request Mrs. Jayendra Patel and Lakshmi Prasanna to honor Mr. K.P.S. Palanivel Rajan with a memento and a shawl. May I now request Mr. Karupsami Pandian and Rajesh, Chairman, Sports Committee, MMBA, to honor Mr. B. Saravanan with a memento and a shawl. May I now request Mr. D. Sivaraman and N. V. Natarajan to honor Mr. R. Gandhi with a memento and a shawl. May we now request the librarian of MMBA and Mr. Prithviraj, EC member of MMBA, to honor Mr. M. Sricharan Rangarajan with a memento and a shawl. May I now request Ms. Jessie Jeevapriya ma'am and Mr. Vinod, EC member of MMBA, to honor Mr. S. Vijayakumar with a memento and a shawl. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Respect is earned, but honor is given. May we now request the President of MMBA, Mr. SRINIVASA RAGHAVAN, to honor Mr. VEERA, Senior Advocate, Additional Advocate General, Madurai Bench of Madras High Court, with a gift. Thank you, sir. May we now request the Secretary of MMBA, Mr. K.P. Narayana Kumar, to honor Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL, Senior Advocate, with a gift. Thank you, sir. May we now request the Vice President of MMBA to honor Ms. KRISHNAVENI, Senior Advocate, with a gift. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Hard work is a recipe of success. May we now request Mr. Venkatramana, Senior Advocate, Additional Advocate General, Madurai Bench of Madras High Court, to deliver the felicitation address.
Respected President, Vice President, Secretary, my beloved friend Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL, KRISHNAVENI, the newly designated senior advocates, senior members of the bar, my dear friends, and my most beloved juniors, and the other persons who are present here. Good evening to one and all. Thondrin pugaludu thondruga, Agdilar thondrame nandru. When we got enrolled as an advocate, we never and ever thought that we will be attaining a position after a few years. On the date of or the day of our enrollment, we will be totally blank. we may not presume and presuppose what would have been our position after a few years. After a few years, we can get something like briefs, monetary assistance, vehicle, etc., including a marriage after some time. But the true facet of life is, as a professional, after some period of our practice, we will be fixing our goals. Some people will be our role models. We inherited certain qualities as a professional. We admire, we follow few people in our career. Even though there are thousands of advocates, very few are designated as a senior advocate. You all know, previously the bench used to call from the bar whether they are willing to become a senior advocate. Those time, the presiding officer or the presiding judge and the incumbent will be knowing about that. Now, the procedure is become very rigorous. The individual have to make their applications with all qualifications, biodata, and public will be given a chance to offer their opinion about their designation. Then a preliminary committee of judges will conduct a small interview about your position and your intention of doing that. Subsequently, a full court will decide as per majority. At least I understand 2/3 majority will make a person as a senior advocate. In fact, the designation as a senior advocate can be seen only as a honor from the bar and bench. After a certain period of practice, the bench and bar unanimously resolve to elevate few persons as designated senior advocate. More or less, even for becoming a judge, it's become very simpler for the reason only collegium has to take a decision. Whereas for becoming a senior advocate, it is very difficult nowadays, and all these 14 advocates, I have conducted case along with them. Most of the cases I oppose them. In my humble opinion, all these 14 advocates from our bar are most deserving and most appropriate that the full court have designated them as senior advocate. We should not conclude with this. As young members of the bar who are watching us and other who are coming to this profession, we are all their inspiration and their target, their role models. When junior advocates seeing other senior members of the bar arguing the case, and on seeing their humbleness, politeness, and their duty to the court, one day they are informed from the bench and bar that those persons are designated as senior advocate. The very method and procedure is only to inspire and to make the junior confident that if you behave properly, very dutiful to the court, humble in presenting the papers, and also very fair in your attempt to get justice to your client, one day there is a chance every person can become a senior advocate. Every person cannot be a judge. It requires so many other factors. In so far as designation as senior advocate is concerned, actually the designated senior advocates are financially losing something, and we happily accept it. Not only that, I used to make a comment saying, whenever senior advocates are designated, at least 10 advocates will get a brief which were previously engaged by them. Like that, the bar will have the happiness that they are also engaged in all matters. In so far as the present designated brothers are concerned, Mr. S. Natarajan is meant for his highest quality of politeness and calmness. I never saw him being hurriedly arguing a case or making any very strong words while arguing the case. He was very polite and firm in presenting the papers. As we all know about Mr. T.S.R. Venkatramana, he is a fighting bull like me. Whenever the court goes in the wrong direction, whenever he feels that his knowledge in a particular field is appropriate, and he rises to the occasion and also highlight the point in issue, even to the judges. That is one of the finest quality which is expected from a senior advocate. Recently in a case, I have come across in a civil division petition pertaining to compensation and award of interest in a land acquisition compensation cases. He assisted the court voluntarily for a fine and a complete justice to the parties who are before the court. He was appreciated by the judge while writing the judgment that the assistance of Mr. T.S.R. Rangarajan was very useful for deciding the issue. Even though he is not a party to a counsel on record for all these cases, I found his name as an assisting advocate for the bench to take a right and a correct decision on the legality. With regard to Mr. S. Vijayakumar, who is coming on the way, is one of the seasoned lawyer from the Madras bar, and he also visits Madurai bench on numerous occasions. He is one of the fine officer as an officer of the court, and I heartfully feel that he is also most deserving as a senior advocate. With regard to Mr. Ananthapadmanabhan is concerned, I love his language. I like the manner in which he presents the case. In 2-3 cases, I confronted him both as a private counsel as well as a state counsel. He mostly focused on law and the manner in which he presents the case very lightly. Even if he loses a case on certain things, he goes out with a smiling face, with a critic about our arguments outside the corridors. That is the finest quality of an advocate. After completing our arguments, when we meet each other in the corridor, crack jokes, make fun about the arguments. And the manner in which we handle the other advocate is always a matter to be discussed both in the corridor, but of course without hurting each other. As a nice court, we have to do that. With regard to Mr. Arul Vadivel Sekar, who is my neighbor, I have been seeing him from 2004 onwards when I entered Madurai with few briefs. And he is one of the finest advocates. I already told him a few years before, brother, why you are not opting for any senior designation? He said already he is indebted to certain departments where they insist that he should not become a senior advocate. All these customs cases, the NDPS cases, I also confronted him in NDPS case with regard to bail and commercial quantity. We had a healthy discussion inside the court, and finally, my Lord Justice C.T. Selvam decided the issue. Such a fine person. I have forgotten to add Mr. K.P.S. alias K. Balasundaram from Pudukkottai. He is one of the beloved brother, and he always used to call me as a brother in every occasion. When some of the clients met him, who were previously my clients, he used to say, and he is also my brother. And he is a very expert in civil law. In all matters, he is also very cool, and he always engages junior advocate to represent the case. Normally, we engage senior advocate. He engaged junior advocates to represent cases. Morefully, all juniors in his office have a chance to argue second appeals and first appeals. That type of confidence he is having on his juniors, and he developed juniors to that level in few years, and compelling them to argue on second appeals virtually. And he is a very fine member of the bar. I once again appreciate him for his services, both for the bar as well as the bench. And with regard to my dear brother, Mr. Subashbabu, the young man of the new team, and he is mostly practicing in criminal side. At the same time, he handle only very sensitive matters. And in all these matters, the manner in which he present and get the orders is really amazing. Sometimes I used to feel that it is not a case for getting relief in his favor. But however, one way or other, he plays the ball and the game in such a way he gets success in his attempt. And I lost several cases because of all his strategic plan. And every junior member should learn from him how to get orders in the court. And with regard to Mr. R. Baskaran, is nothing new to add. He is one of my brother, and I used to call him as, we used to call ourselves as Gemini brothers. And we used to play trumpet together. Sometimes we make fun also. He is one of the fine officers. He is my college mate. Not only that, I only compelled him to become an AG Madurai. And because when we met him a year before, I told him that he should come to Madurai bench as a law officer. And he was having a very busy practice in Madurai, in Trichy. He is one of the leading practitioners who is practicing in all branches of civil law. But I requested my brother, saying that, brother, come to Madurai. Your exposure is very much needed, and you don't carry your clients ever, and allow your juniors to have their own practice. Please come to Madurai. The right time he assumed office as AAG, and also he is doing very well, and he was properly honored by the bench because of his immense knowledge and the manner in which he handled even sensitive matters really appreciable, and he is always cool. He never get tense like me, but he is always cool in handling the issue. He is also a most deserving candidate as a senior advocate. With regard to Mr. Senthilvelan, long time no see, and he was previously AAG, and he was a very meticulous person. Even for small miscellaneous petition, he would come with judgments, because he was brought up from Parasaran office, Mr. Parasaran office, and he is a very ardent disciple of Mr. Mohan Parasaran. He had a very successful practice in Supreme Court. When he was given a chance to function here as an Assistant Solicitor General, he readily agreed, and he also stayed with us for some period during his tenure. And subsequently, he is not able to continue his practice in Supreme Court. And after the tenure, he went back to Chennai. However, he is maintaining the same friendship, and his effort in getting things done as a counsel is also appreciable. We also appreciate Mr. Senthilvelan, and also my heartfelt felicitation to him. And Mr. S.R. Rajagopal, one of the Mr. S.R. Rajagopal and Sricharan, so far as me is concerned, they are sailing together in so far as my aspect is concerned. I fought with them on so many cases in the last regime. Every case, I find it very difficult to meet out them as a petitioner counsel. And similarly, I am doing it as a state counsel to them now. And both Mr. S.R. Rajagopalan and Sricharan, they are very ardent state councils, and they maintain the dignity and decorum as a state council. They never give any information which is detrimental to the other side without giving proper opportunity. Recently also, I had a confrontation inside the court in two of the cases with Mr. Rajagopal and Mr. Sricharan, because I am jumping because both of them are in the same category. In one case, a case was wrongly listed before a particular judge, and favorable orders were passed. And it is not the case to be clubbed along with that batch, because it is wrongly allowed. Virtually, it is wrongly allowed. When I make a mention before the judge, and next day Sricharan was available and said, yes, judge, it was wrongly included. And he immediately responded to the court saying that it is not the case coming under the batch, it is wrongly included, it has to be deleted. That type of the genuineness and appreciable characters, even that is expected from a lawyer. And the manner in which they handle the case, they are most deserving for the designation as senior advocate. And even though in several cases we won and lose, and we are all good friends, even inside the court we make crack funds regarding all our things. With regard to Mr. Palanivel Rajan is concerned, and he is a fine officer. He appeared in only sensitive matters, and he interprets law in a new direction. His elevation as a designated senior advocate will give more judgment on interpretation of statutes. He never loses his grip, and he always interprets and sees things in a new dimension and new direction. Any advocate should have something innovative in their mind in interpreting the statute, and also to give assistance to the court and rendering justice. In that aspect, Mr. Palanivel Rajan is a most apt person, and some of the judgments where he appeared under the Tampede Act and as well as these check dishonor cases are even today are occupying the field, and it is not overruled so far. And with regard to Mr. B. Saravanan, and one of our close associate, and V. Saravanan is one of the fine officers of the court, and he and me assisted the court as amicus curiae in removal of encroachment in water bodies. He is more fully a decent personality, and sometimes he argues against his client if it is factually incorrect. He always admits that if it is wrong, he admits in the open court. At the same time, when the court goes wrong, he always agitates by saying and agitate the matter and turn the judge to his view. After a strenuous efforts, he is a well-planned advocate, very fine gentleman, and he is most deserving for getting this post as a designated senior advocate. And Mr. Gandhi, we have to make a special reference about him. Anybody, my suggestion is, if at all, if anybody have a chance to make any speech or something like that, better make your speech before Gandhi. Otherwise, Gandhi will get all their votes. He is such a efficient person, both in Tamil and English. He argues well, and he presents the case very pleasantly in the court. And any judge who hear the arguments of Gandhi will certainly appreciate his arguments, and in case if they have a chance to vote, certainly they will vote for Gandhi for becoming a senior advocate. That type of impression he will make is a fair judge, fair advocate, and fair to his client as well as to the court. With this, all these 14 members of our bar are most deserving person, and I heartfully congratulate each and every member of newly designated senior advocate, and I wish them a happy as well as a prestigious career as a senior advocate. Not only that, being a senior advocate, we have a certain happiness in our conscience and mind. The moment I got this the designation in 2016, I got a phone call from a senior judge now and said, "KATHIRAVAN, you are selected." I was also designated along with Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL. I felt immense pleasure because I am a first generation lawyer. I never thought that I will be designated as a senior advocate in the Charter High Court. But what made me, I don't know, I don't never think that becoming a senior advocate is by choice or chance or by fate. It can be only by continuous efforts and tirelessness effort, and all this sincerity to the client and hard working alone will give you this designation. This is my experience. I also find the same qualifications are vested with all these 14 advocates from our bar. And this becoming a senior advocate as a first generation lawyer is one of the highest honor as an advocate, and the honor comes from the Chartered High Court is really marvelous, a career and a lifetime achievement of any lawyer. I also wish each and every lawyer here to become a senior advocate in future. I heartfully congratulate and wish all the senior advocates for becoming a senior advocate. I once again thank the office bearers for giving me this opportunity, and apart from that, I personally thank the office bearers for taking this in this moment, for giving 1 minute silence to the martyr soul of Mahatma Gandhi without forgetting the day today. I once again thank for all this, and I will conclude with this. Thank you.
Thank you for the dimply speech, sir. A dream becomes a goal when action is taken towards its achievement. May we now request the one who can handle the tongue of British better than the British. Yes, Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL, Senior Advocate, to deliver the felicitation address.
Mr. President, friends on the dais, the newly designated senior advocates, beloved members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen, it is a day of great joy to have these many people designated as seniors. And more than that, I deem that it is a matter of great pride for the entire Madurai bar to have such large number of 14 people having been crowned with the designation as senior advocates. It is not an ordinary achievement. If you look at the long and cumbersome procedure upon which these people got selected, looks as though it is easier to become a judge and very difficult to become a senior advocate. When I came to know of this procedure, I was literally afraid, had I been undergoing this process, certainly I wouldn't have got through. Perhaps my friend VEERA and KRISHNAVENI might go through, because you all know that they are very serious and studious people, whereas I have never been. If we look at this history of senior counselship, it dates back to sometime in the 16th century. It was in England in the year 1597. The first senior advocate came to be designated. That was Sir Francis Bacon. During the time when Queen Elizabeth was holding the reins. That is why it was called Queen's Council. In England, they call them as Queen's Council or King's Council, depending upon who is holding the reins of the kingdom. But so far as India is concerned, we have some statutory provision, section 16 of the Advocates Act, which classifies the two types of advocates. But anyhow, it is something which is very strange for the common man to see why there are two sets of lawyers, classifications as senior and junior. Maybe apart from the statutory provisions, I always deem that in the higher courts, especially in the constitutional courts like the High Courts and Supreme Court, this system has its prominent role. People with some ability, some extraordinary expertise, they are chosen by the High Courts and the Supreme Court and got designated as senior advocates. Maybe a little liberated from the torments of the clients or the responsibility of holding the Wakalatnama and all those things. But I say that becoming a senior is not a small joke. It is a great responsibility. Apart from the weighty gown what you are wearing, a great responsibility lies on the shoulders of the senior counsels. My friend VEERA KATHIRAVAN particularized each and every one of the newly designated senior advocates. I don't want to indulge in that repetition now. But I would like to say, apart from my hearty congratulations to all of you, I have a few words of caution at this time. Two facets I would like to highlight before you now. One is the aspect of model. The second is the aspect of money. Designation of senior advocates actually carries the greater responsibility of becoming the role models for the entire bar. We call this profession of law as a profession of traditions. Why? Because the new will learn from the old, the junior will learn from the senior. And what is to be learned? Not the questions of law alone, but everything including his style, his mannerism, his characteristics, his personality, his way of presentation, everything. Therefore, whenever a senior counsel appears in court, he should be doubly conscious, one, the case which he is representing, and at the same time, he must remember that he is leading the profession which is a profession of traditions. Seniors are all would be watching you, not only what you argue, but how you present the case. Are you polite? Are you very courteous in the court, in your behavior? Courtesy in behavior and politeness in presentation are very essential. At the same time, they should be very firm on their views, points, and very strong in their submissions also. At times, very sad to see even people wearing senior gown or bending, begging, crooning, cringing before the courts. That should be respectfully avoided, because the juniors who should learn from seniors how to have the demeanor in the court. It's very, very important. And regarding the legal acumen, there is no need for any kind of explanation on that, because our bar is known for that. Madras bar is always known for its legal acumen and expertise. The second aspect I would like to say is money. This is very important. Senior advocates should never make themselves cheaply available. They should maintain some status. They should charge a heavy fee so that the cases with the lesser fee will go to the juniors. If the seniors continue to draw lesser fee, then the cases will never go to the juniors at all. Please remember that the cases of high fee belong to the seniors and the cases of low fee belong to the juniors. If a senior still collects less fee, he is actually trespassing into the domain of the juniors. Only when the seniors collect a little higher fee, the matters will go to the juniors and there will be chances of progress and prosperity for the juniors. That's very important. At times, fate works a little differently. Even in my case, what happened was, at the time when I got designation, along with my friend VEERA KATHIRAVAN, I happened to be in Chennai. And all the people, habitually I used to sit in the library, either in Madurai or in Madras. My habit is spending time in the library. Though not reading, I would simply squat in the library, not spending much time in the chambers. The people who are very much seniors to me kept on advising me, Mr. Isaac, when you choose to appear in the first case, the choice should be the best. You must choose the straight case with a fatty fee. Normally, I don't mind all these kinds of sentiments, but still, because the people went on saying that, something got into my mind. But anyhow, I made it a point that I must appear the first case as a senior counsel only in Madurai. And I just called my office, and C.B. Chakravarti was the senior most junior then. He said, I'm engaged in a very big matter, which is at 2:15 on that day. I took the morning flight and came here. When I got down from the car in the office, Mr. Thaimanaswamy was waiting there with a long face in front of the office. When I inquired why you are standing so, he said, I have a very small case. And the transfer of a woman from one place to another, the distance is about 8 kilometers. I said, what kind of case this is? I said, what is the reason for the transfer? He said, it's an administrative transfer. Then I, nothing doing, I walked on the staircase. He followed me, saying that, sir, this woman is a handicapped woman. Then I just got stumbled. I looked back, and anyhow I decided to appear the matter without waiting for the straight and fatty case in the afternoon. The reason why he engaged me was not that he wanted actually me to appear in the matter. He had a very tough time before the court on the previous day. The lady judge was very strict and very stringent in giving orders. She was about to dismiss the matter. Then somehow he managed to get adjournment, because you know Thaimanaswamy is very adept in taking adjournments. He got the matter on the next day. I went to the court, and the judge was quite surprised. She asked, what is this administrative transfer, the distance, what is the distance? I said 8 kilometers. What is your problem? No, I'm going to dismiss the matter. Then I said, 8 kilometers may be a small distance, but 3 people will have to travel every day back and forth. She was a little surprised and looked at me, why 3 people? I said she was handicapped by 50% earlier. Once she went to the district collector's office in connection with some official work, where she got down from the bus, got stumbled and fell. The bus that was following hit her, and thereby the handicap percentage increased from 50 to 83. Now 2 people from her home are going to her office right now, every day in the noon and the afternoon, just to carry her, lift her to the bathroom and to put her back in the... This is the position. That is why now when she is transferred to 8 kilometers away, 2 people will have to travel 2 times back and forth. The judge called the stenographer, allowed the case immediately, and directed the district collector to put her back in the place in 24 hours. And unusually, that order was immediately complied with without the formal ritual of a contempt petition. I came back to the office in the afternoon, in the evening, and Thaimanaswamy was again standing there, saying that, sir, I have brought the fee. I asked him, what is the amount? He said, 5,000 rupees. I said, return the money to that poor lady. Let her go back with the money. My idea was to appear for the straight and fatty case, but God has its own plan. And I had to appear for that woman. And even big cases where I appeared, I don't remember now. But this case, I remember even today. And I really thank God for that opportunity. Therefore, it is not always that money matters, but still, pro bono is different from professional engagements. I again say that if the senior lawyers are coming forward to appear for less fee, you are entering into the domain of the juniors and spoiling the juniors from their points of progress. That is very important. We must always remember that there is a concept of divinity in the profession of law. It is not a mere profession. It is a profession where charity and all these service always are deeply embedded. Just as V.R. Krishna beautifully said once, lawyers are the evangelists of equity and good conscience. They have a humanist gospel to spread, a public defender's role to play, and lawyer power at the service of the people of this planet divinizes our profession of the bench and the bar. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Every great achievement starts with a decision to try and the confidence to act. May I now request Mrs. KRISHNAVENI, Senior Advocate, to deliver the felicitation address.
Mr. SRINIVASA RAGHAVAN, President, Mr. Narayana Kumar, General Secretary, Mr. VEERA KATHIRAVAN, AAG and Senior Counsel, Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL, Senior Advocate, Mr. Meenakshi Sundaram, Senior Advocate, Mr. Arumugam, Senior Advocate, and recently designated Senior Advocates. I am not naming each and every one. And my brothers and sisters, good evening to all. Mr. VEERA KATHIRAVAN and Mr. ISSAC MOHANLAL has spoken everything about the newly designated senior councils and how they have to be. But both of them didn't tell about this MMBA. MMBA has given the space for the growth of all the senior advocates here. Now, earlier we had 10 senior advocates as members. Now we have more than 24. It's a great achievement. No, none of the bars here has that much of senior advocates as the members. We have more than 24 as senior advocates. MMBA is going to attain its majority within few days. MMBA is going to have the 18 years because it was founded in 2005. Still a minor. Earlier, MMBA has felicitated 10 advocates who have completed 50 years in the bar. Now after that, we are felicitating 14 advocates who are senior advocates. Many of them are first generation lawyers. Most of them have come here from Chennai when this bench was started. From 2004, they have achieved this position not so easily. From 2004 till date, they have toiled and worked hard and put their heart and soul into this profession and dedicated entire life to this profession. That's why they are in this place. Because everybody should know here, the 10 advocates who have been designated from Madurai has to given a big hand than those who have been designated from Chennai. Everybody please, because they had all their role models, everybody their guidance, everything they had to achieve this. But here it is not so. Everybody, those who have been designated here started from a scratch here in 2004 on their own. They have achieved this position. So MMBA is also instrumental for them to achieve this. I congratulate each and everyone for attaining this position, and those who are present here should take them as an inspiration and one day this MMBA has to felicitate each and everyone here for becoming a senior advocate. Thanking you for the opportunity.
Not only she who possesses confidence and perseverance, but also her speech. Thank you, ma'am. Let me now hand over the podium to President of MMBA.
Before going for few of the designated senior advocates to give the acceptance speech. So I'm here to make two important announcements, which is going to be very important for MMBA. Mr. T.S.R. Venkatramana, newly designated senior advocate and a senior counsel by his age and experience, has proposed to launch a T.R. Money Award for Promising Lawyers at MMBA. I thank him for his generosity and his encouragement to the junior members of the bar. Next year we will know who is going to win the award. And he has got one more thing to add. He is going to invest a sum of rupees 5 lakhs as corpus fund with MMBA for the purpose of T.S.R. Venkatramana law lectures. And the first such session will be held in the month of October, starting from the year 2023, that is the current year. That is the 50th year of his yeoman service in the bar. Sir, we thank you, and we are going to celebrate your 50th anniversary as an advocate in the bar. And second announcement is, the moment I assumed office as the president, I am not blowing the trumpet. I thank Mr. S.R. Rajagopal. He has gifted books from foreign edition worth of 3 lakhs to MMBA immediately. He may not like me to say this in this podium, but I just want him to continue his patronage by his lectures also in the MMBA. Thank you, sir, once again. And there are some advocates who requested me not to name, so I leave him, and there are a lot of many advocates who support MMBA. I have all the pleasure, in fact I wanted to give the podium to each and every 14 of these designated senior counsels to give that's what. But I may require only 2 or 3 to spend their few words. May I request Mr. T.S.R. Venkatramana to give his acceptance speech.
Mr. President, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, senior advocates, both senior designates as well as my colleagues who have got the designation with me, and my beloved junior members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. An acceptance speech is something like a vote of thanks. As a senior designate, I listed how many people I should thank. My mind immediately came, the first set of people in the office is the guru or our seniors, my juniors. When I am speaking I only represent all my colleagues. The juniors, the back office, Kumasta and the typists, and above all the clients. The seniors guided us. The juniors traveled with us, and the office assisted us, and above all the clients, they bestowed their trust on us, and they gave us the brief. I thank them all. Number 2, as Mohanlal said, the selection process was very studious, and I thank all the committee members of the selection committee for bestowing their confidence on us and designating all of us as a senior. Third, to the MMBA for giving us all this felicitation. Thank you, sir. Then, next is the entire body of judges of the Madras High Court. You know that is about more than 60. And let me count, not all of us, at least me, did not appear before all the judges. because there are judges who are permanently staying in Madras, there are certain judges who are permanently staying in Madurai, and of course there are some judges who are doing a musical chair between Chennai and Madurai. Still, all the judges, they selected us, so thank you to the full court of the Madras High Court for selecting us. And last but not the least, every success has this tag of odds. The members of the family, when we were working, as H.W. Longfellow said, the heights to which a man reaches is not made in a sudden flight. They, while their companions slept, toil upward till midnight. The whole family of us, the wife, mother, parents, and Guru, for me, my father, they all spared us to be with the court. Long time, starting from early morning to the night. So I thank every member of the family for making us what we are today. And the president said, make a very short speech, and I define a short speech as a miniskirt, long enough to cover the subject, short enough to be interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. S. Rajagopal, Senior Advocate, to take the podium for a few words.
I'm stumped for the words. I don't know what to say. Acceptance speech will not be complete without saying thank you. To say thank you for what? The only thing is I can say thanks because what I am is because of the people who molded me, who brought me here. The difficulty in saying this thanks speech or an acceptance speech is, if I miss somebody, the guilt I'll have to carry all my life. If I omit somebody, it should not be mistaken. If I fail to say something, what I have to mention, I don't know, people might not accept. With this I start my salutations. Senior counsels on the podium, Mr. President, General Secretary, newly designated senior counsel, my colleagues, friends, juniors in the bar, and all of you who are present here. I never thought this felicitation so many people would really attend such a great grand function. Since I've been forewarned that I should be very brief, the only thing which I can really remember or quote is Shakespeare on the 12th night. I can no other answer make, but thanks, thanks and ever thanks. Thanks to all. Like what Mr. T.S.R. said, pardon me sir, I'm calling you with your initials. I have great regard for him as well as Mr. T.R. Mani sir. There are so many memories there which I really want to share. I know the paucity of time. But what he said, I have a slight difference, not a difference of opinion on that. I start with my parents, my teachers, then the office where I belong to, my guru, Mr. G.R. Lakshmanan, the judges before whom I appeared, my friends, whenever I was down, when we lost briefs or we had some difficulty, who really coaxed you and pushed us up, the colleagues with whom I had rubbed shoulders. Thereafter, when you were let out own and started off, the people who joined you right from your clerk and your juniors, your stenographers, then the newly coming friends, the judges and all. With all this, all of them here failed to mention one thing. You should all be lucky to have a wife who is supporting, and that lady who sacrifices her life to make us stand here. I am really blessed for that, and she has kept her word till today, and I think this is the time post designation where we can choose some briefs and say, yes, I'll appear in this, not for the fees, for the pleasure of appearing. I can spend some more time with her, which I lost all these years. Mr. Veerakadran was so sweet. I'm talking on behalf of all the newly designated because I don't think they'll get a chance to stand here. Sir, please allow me to take it on your behalf. I'm speaking for all of them. In his usual eloquence, he said so sweet words about everybody. No, there were goosebumps. Many of it, I really don't know that whether I really deserved it or all of us deserved it. He was so nice, and what encouraging words. Mr. Lal, who was introduced by saying, even the British might really have a tough time talking to him. In his sweet words, he put it how we should behave and how we should walk our life from here. And the lone lady on the stage, Miss KRISHNAVENI, when she came here to the mic, I don't know whether you all noticed, one thing she said, this is the mother. This is the association where you all grew. We should thank the association. That is where I always say, a woman there who points out at the right time. So I really thank her. And so many members, your office bearers, who have made this evening a memorable one. I will cherish this, I'll carry this as a memory all my life. And as our president said, the only felicitation, or probably going to be one of the only felicitations for the newly designated seniors, Vandarai Vadavaikum Oor Madurai. Adhe pola ellarame whoever came here, the first they wanted to recognize. The recognition where you got first. All my life when somebody comes and tells me, after you're being designated, which was your first function, I'll be really proud to say. And incidentally, as destiny would have it, and as I had decided, wearing the gown, the first appearance was before this court. So it is more memorable to me. I don't know how others take it. It is more memorable to me. Mr. President said, doing on the books. When he became the president, I knew him well. I walked up and said, I wanted to give one library because I have seen as a junior, when I walked into that time MBA, all the seniors here would say, would at least stand by me in that. To walk into the MBA, to get a book or borrow a book to read, you need to use a library card or you need a blessing of the senior. After which, I'm very proud to say I have the best of the libraries. And I said a library should contain certain books which are rare and which is not affordable to the juniors. I wanted to introduce the book, as the president said, all those books. Each is a masterpiece. Take it from D. Smith on Judicial Review and all those books. I only request, the future is the juniors. By going up, we create a vacuum. Please trust me, there's a lot of space for everybody. We are not in a third-class compartment. There is a lot of space. The only thing is mind. When you get a toe spade, squeeze in, come inside. Once you come inside, all that is yours. And extend your hand to somebody who wants to come in. Therefore, there is so much of space. Use those books and many more books like me, many of the others would really come forward to do it. And I make this as a request to all of them. Like the book donation, whatever you do. Buy a quality book, invest in it, spend the time with this. Trust me, there's a beautiful future. This profession, you will never fail. There's a lot of space. All of you come. All of our competitors, we will have a healthy competition. Let's do it. I hope in the short time, I meet all of you in the court. In the sense, not taking you to the court, trying to oppose you in the court. If all of you succeed and if I lose, it's okay. It's the fate of the client. But then I have to have the pleasure of opposing all of you. With this, I would really say, if I have not thanked anybody here, please pardon me, paucity of time. I had to be brief. Thank you. All the very best. And thanks. I am really humbled by your felicitation. Thanks, thanks, thanks.
I had always wondered the meaning of the phrase once in a blue. It is called exceptional. Now I got the answer from the one from the blue suit. Thank you so much, sir. I request Mr. M. Sricharan Rangarajan, the youngest of senior advocates, to take the podium for a few minutes.
I shouldn't be talking much, but I want to thank the MMBA from the bottom of my heart. I just want to add one thing. I'm really startled, but at the same time, I just wanted to say one thing. As seniors mentioned here, as me being the youngest, I just wanted to say that as the seniors mentioned that there is space for everyone, there is space on this side too if we work hard. So I consider this designation as a blessing from all the seniors here and seniors there, and all the judges as well. All the best to all the future seniors. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gratitude can transform common into thanksgiving, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary circumstances into blessings. With this code, may I now request the Secretary of MMBA, Mr. K.P. Kumar, to propose the vote of thanks.
President of MMBA, AAG sir, former presidents of MMBA, senior councils, my fellow friends, good evening to everybody. Really, I am joyful to be amongst the galaxy of senior councils of MMBA. Preliminarily, I would like to thank the persons, the senior councils who felicitate the newly designated senior councils. AG VEERA sir, ISSAC MOHANLAL sir, and Senior Council KRISHNAVENI ma'am. Thank you all for coming here and felicitating the newly designated senior councils. Recently, I have gone through a judgment. Of course, I am not disturbing you by reading the judgment. Only one paragraph may be permitted to read. Yes, the latest judgment of the Madras High Court regarding senior councils. In the judgment, it has been stated, only one paragraph I would like. It is relevant to note, designating an advocate as a senior advocate is a matter of honor and privilege conferred upon a member of the bar. The court is of the view that such privilege and honor cannot be based on reservation. It must be purely based on the merit cum ability and the successful career of the member of the bar, irrespective of the gender of the member of the bar. Yes, so the able persons and meritorious persons, MMBA is extending its gratitude to you all for your presence, for accepting this felicitation. Thank you. We are extending our thanks to Senior Counsel Mr. S. Natarajan, Senior Counsel Mr. T.S.R. Venkatramana, Senior Counsel Mr. S. Vijayakumar, Senior Counsel Mr. K. Balasundaram, Senior Counsel Mr. N. Ananthapadmanabhan, Senior Counsel Mr. C. Arul Vadivel alias Sekar, Senior Counsel Mr. M. Subashbabu, Senior Counsel Mr. R. Baskaran, Senior Counsel Mr. K.K. Senthilvelan, Senior Counsel Mr. S.R. Rajagopal, Senior Counsel Mr. K.P.S. Palanivel Rajan, Senior Counsel B. Saravanan, Senior Counsel Mr. R. Gandhi, Senior Counsel Mr. M. Sricharan Rangarajan. And we are extending our thanks to our senior advocates, Arul sir, Meenakshi Sundaram sir, Godwin sir, and my friends. And MMBA is extending thanks to one and all. Thank you everybody. And lastly, we are bound to say thanks to the K.P.S who have made this function a beautiful one. Thank you everybody.